So, hey, the reason we're here today is to talk about assessments. Assessments is a tool that we have on the internet that we can use through Google Classroom to monitor student work through Eureka Math and then give assessments like the end of the module assessments, which we will be doing from 3rd through 5th. And therefore, we want to make sure you know how to use assessments. There will be time for questions throughout this, so please don't cut in with a question. Hold that until we ask you to if you have any questions. So we have some goals today. One is what it takes to create an account, how to create an assignment. We will show all of this live at one point. We'll look at it from a student experience as well, and then look at the data, and then we will figure out how to analyze questions together. Also, in the agenda for today's meeting, Dan put in a link that will directly add you to an assessments Google Classroom so you can experience it from the student side when we go live together. So if you have at some point or have looked at it and have already seen it and joined, great. If you haven't, consider jumping in on that when you can. So assessments is a free formative assessment tool. It's to enhance the curriculum. It's not replacing it by any means, but it allows us to assign the exit tickets, the end of module assessments, the homework, the practice pages that are in Eureka. Normally in our books, we can do an online version of that. Students, when they do that, get immediate feedback, as immediate as soon as they put in an answer, right or wrong. And if it is wrong, get more possible ways to answer the questions. So we are going to use this through Google Classroom, and there are 4 real basic steps to using assessments. Create assignments. The students get their immediate feedback. You look at the class data and analyze those answers together, fix any misconceptions, and then move on. So to create an account, and this does say with Canvas or Google, we are not a Canvas district, so with Google, it's pretty simple. You go to www.assistments.org and you click log in, and it's going to say, hey, what do you choose? You're going to choose Google Classroom, and then it's going to ask you, well, what do you want to use as your login credentials? And of course, you pick your district Google account. After you've created your account, it's time to create assignments. And so you will have a chance to go look through the content. You're going to be looking for the Engage New York Eureka content. Clicking on that, you will then be able to find the assignments based upon the units and assign it to Google Classroom. So you'll notice that there's a button above any of the assignments that you can add, which says assign to Google Classroom. So we're going to do that. We're going to show you how to authorize that connection to assessments, how to import the classes and rosters, and then modify any of the assignment details in Google Classroom as well. Dan, are there any questions, or does anybody have a question right now?
None in chat, but if anybody wants to unmute, go for it.
You get 2 more seconds.
Time's up.
Time's up. All right. Beautiful. So let's keep going. So step 2 then is to figure out what the student experience is, and the students, and you're going to get to see this because you will get to be students in a few moments, to see what it's like and how you get immediate feedback as the student. Well, it looks something like this. The student goes into Google Classroom. They click on the assignment that the teacher has added to Google Classroom from assessments. They open it up. And by the way, the first time they've ever done this, if they've never used assessments, it's going to ask them to create an account. And the answer is yes, create an account. And guess what they're going to use to create their account? Their Google login. So once the students open up the assignment, they will see places while they'll read the problems. It's the same as what they get in their booklets. And there is a place then to type in an answer. There might be some problems where they are asked to actually draw their workout or make a diagram and explain it. And we will show you near the end how to take a picture of your work and add it to one of these questions. We've made videos for both Chromebooks and iPads on how that is done. So once they put in the answer, the kind of feedback they get, if it's correct, they're told it's correct right away. But if it's not correct, they're going to say, hey, sorry, do it again. 4 is not right, in this case on the example I'm showing you. And they have a chance to change it. If they change it, they're not going to get 100% because it's not the first try. But they also have an option to show the answer. And if they show the answer, they're going to get it right, but they're not going to get any points possible for that. And I think some of the problems also include hints. And so if they take a hint, it does lower their scores. The students, when they're done, they get a report at the end of it that shows how they did overall and even compared it to the class average. They can go back and click on a question that they struggled with and go back to that. And if you have looked at it and you have graded any of the constructed response questions, you can put some feedback in and they can then see that feedback from the teacher as well. Dan, any questions?
None so far. Oh, wait, one just popped in. Is there a limited number of tell me the answers so students don't just click that through the rest of the test?
So we'll take a look at that and what the data looks like. And, they can say, show me the answer on each one, but the test data will show you how long they were in the test. And it will show you with color coding that they actually clicked on show me the answer. Therefore, you know exactly what they did for this, in which case I'd delete it and reassign it to the child. Anything else?
That's it, unless someone wants to unmute and ask.
Feel free, Dan, to jump in on anything if you feel I've missed it.
Nope, you're good so far.
All right, so the third part then is to assess the class performance, and that's your part. So you get to go look at that. And you go into your Google Classroom. You don't need to go to assistments.org. You go to your classroom, you go to that assignment, and you click on it. And when it's done, you will get a report to see how your kids have done. And here's an example of the report. So you will see a whole score average for the whole class. The example here is 64%. They will show you per problem, or they'll show you the correct answers for each problem, common wrong answers, and the percent of the class with the common wrong answer, so that you know where you can add in some remediation, and how the class did per individual problem. You're probably noticing some X's and check marks and some yellow coding. That will be covered in just a second. In this is individual student data, because you can look by individual student. You can look across the tabs. You see their score. You see there's 3 dots, which are even more details. You can open and look at the answers to open response questions. Click on that. You'll notice it's on my example, it says essay scoring. So you can always click on that and make sure you go in and add those scores if you haven't done so already. And exactly over on the right, you'll see that the total time spent on the assignment. I know student 2 here was done in 1:40 and didn't do too well. Maybe needs to spend a little more time. So some of the symbols that you see, if you see a green check, they got it right, and they got it right on the first attempt. They didn't use a hint at all. If they get it right on the second or third try, or a hint was used, they'll get partial credit. You'll see a green X. But if they've used hints and they finally get it right after that third try, they're going to get no partial credit. You'll see that X. But the color coding of yellow with that X was that they gave an answer but they'd also clicked on show me the answer. And so they get no partial credit for that problem at all. Dan, questions?
So, yep. So one of the questions was, when you said you can check the reports, were you referring to classroom teachers or all these LSTs?
I am referring to classroom teachers who put in the assignments into assessments. I guess if, and it's feasible that if an LST was a teacher, co-teacher in a Google Classroom, that you might be able to go see that. Any
That's
others?
it. Nope, that's it. You got it.
Boy, we're going to fly through this one. All right. So the fourth part is that then this is your chance to pull out the report and analyze those things together, talk about what you guys did great, use the time to reteach any misconceptions kids might have been having, focus in on the real big problems, and have that discussion about those common wrong answers. So the idea then is also to reinforce a growth mindset that, it's okay that you had incorrect attempts. It's part, any learning is never 100% right. And this is how we're going to fix it so that your percentage correct the first time can go up. Some other ways that you can analyze that is that you can take a look at exit tickets if that's what you've assigned, or the homework from the night before. You've already looked at the data and are ready to start your session synchronously with the kids going over that. You might be putting in small groups of kids that you meet with who had the same common wrong answers, or even set up some bank time or individual time to work with those kids who are struggling. So there's, as many ways to analyze, but you can always, once you've looked at the misconceptions, you can create a video of your own that explains how to do it again, put that out in Google Classroom so that they can go out and review it again. You might find a video that it's already been made, maybe on Khan Academy or something similar. Share it live. Ask students to write a reflection. Really a good exit ticket is going to ask them how much they understood or didn't understand, so that you have an idea of how you are going to keep moving forward. So the first place I'm going to go to is assistments.org. And of course, if you've never been to Assistments, even clicking on login will give you the option of choosing your Google account. I didn't need to. I'm already connected, but the directions are pretty straightforward. And we're going to log in with Google. So let me just show you what the Assistments webpage looks like. It opens up and defaults to this Explore Content page. Whenever you see the three dots, like in the upper left, you can see here that you can bookmark content as well. You'll notice that there's Engage New York. And I actually hit the three dots and I put the bookmark. I can rename the bookmark, whatever I want. And if I just want to look at my bookmarks, I can come over here and go to the content bookmarks. So let's open it up, and I will pull out a grade 3 just for fun. And you notice when I click on it, it's all set up just like Eureka Math in the modules. When you open up the module, if you want a problem set, homework, exit tickets, or assessment, all you have to do is open it up and find the one for the lesson that you're on. I'm just going to pick lesson 1 for our example. This is the teacher side of it. So I do want you to know that there's all these problems in here, and you may not want to give all of the problems in the problem set. So you can click the box and select just the problems that you want. You may not want to have the kids do 5-part problems all day long on it. That's up to you. If I select all of the problems, I'm good here too. So the next step then would be is to assign it to Google Classroom. When you click on Google Classroom, one of the first things that you actually have to do is import your classes. So my classes have already been imported, but let me show you what it looks like. When I click on import, it says, hey, which one of these Google Classrooms do you want to use with assessments? It can be more than one. Now I have already imported it, and mine is called assessments. So let's go back. I select a class that I want to put it in. And so you'll notice here, it already knows it's the problem set. You determine what day it's going to be released and what day that it's due. And it will go straight into Google Classroom. I am going to select just a little bit different one in a minute to assign to all of you. If you want to see what it looks like for the students before you assign it to Google Classroom, there's another 3 dots in the upper right, and you can go look at the student view that the kids see, where they get to type in their answers and submit answers, how to go on to the next one. You will see the show answer button down here as well on this problem. If it includes a hint, you will see the hint button. So you get to actually see from a kid's perspective, okay? Now for us, I apologize for that. That's what you get for living in a construction zone. I'm going to actually assign you a test that I have as a sample test. And I'm not going to give you all of the problems. We don't have that much time, but I am going to give you, say, well, I might give you 4 problems in this case. So I've selected the 4. I'm going to assign it to Google Classroom. The class is Assessments. I'm going to go next. I can rename it if I want. I'm just going to leave it Learning Assessments. Today is Friday the 4th, and the due date is tomorrow. I expect you guys all to be done here today. So right now it's going into Google Classroom. It has been assigned. What you guys should do is go to your Google Classroom now and go over to the classwork page. If you don't see Learning Assessments up at the top, I want you to refresh your screen and it will be right there at the top. I want you to click on it. I want you to click on the assessment. You might be asked to create an account. Do that, use your Google, and I want you to take the test. I want some of you to get things wrong on purpose, and I also want some of you to show an answer on 1 or 2 so you can see how that looks like, what it looks like in your report as a student and mine as well. Okay, so to your classroom, I want you to take it as a student. Go for it now. We'll give you a few minutes. Awesome. All right, so y'all, I'm going to pick up the training again right now, and you will see that I am back in my Google Classroom. So if I was a teacher and I'm in the classroom and I come to my classwork, I note that 21 have turned it in. All I have to do is click on this link to assessments, and you will start seeing some reports. You can hide the student names from the reports or show the student names. If you're going to be reviewing it with the kids, hide the student names. We're going to leave them on for right now. So you're going to start seeing a few things going on. You know, for example, Kristen, we're not picking on you, but you got 67%, but she had one where she had to type in some words and got 100%. That's awesome. And she got this one right in the first try. This one, she got it correct but it took an extra try. This one is completely wrong. And I noticed that Veronica, she had it show the answer. You're going to see a bunch of blank ones. Those are all the Tamris teachers, but here's some more of you LSTs today. So you can see how you did, how much time it took you over on the right. So you can start analyzing what's happening. Okay. You'll notice also that there's a little half moon, which means that they probably were not finished yet, partially finished, and had not completed the assignment. So that's a clue for you that there's some people who needed to get this done, okay? So that is how that happens. It's pretty simple to assign it from assessments, and students go in and take it. You go back in and look at it. So what we showed you today was how to create an account, how to create an assignment, which I did for you, You got to see it from the student side of things because you got to complete the assignment. Those who got all the way through saw your feedback right away on how you did. And we took a look at the class performance. We've talked earlier about ways to analyze this together. We're not going to analyze your work other than saying that all the data is there for you to go as a teacher to analyze the work. That said, here are the two videos we created. And since our assessments for the LPMs are going to be done in assessments using the end of module test, there is a video in how to upload pictures of your work. And I'm just going to share this. It's a couple minutes long, but it will be here available for you to share with the staff along with this presentation. And this presentation is linked down at the bottom of the slide, which is bit.ly/assist PD, PD in capital letters. So let's take a look at the video and you'll see how it's done in a Chromebook. Students, parents helping students, you might be asked to upload a picture of your work into a program like Assistments, which we'll show you in just a moment, that you have done on paper. You know, take a picture and put it into the problem so that your teacher can see what you're doing and offer you the feedback. So here's how you do it. We're going to open up the assignment. In this case, it's the mid-module assessment. Once it loads, and you'll notice that it's asking you to draw, in this case, draw your array on paper and take a picture and upload it using the image icon. Well, that means we first have to take a picture of it. So let's go find the camera first on a Chromebook. Down in the lower left, there's a little circle. It's called the launcher. And you can type in the word camera into the launcher. And there's the icon. Let's open up the camera. Here I am. And you'll notice one thing that's going to need to happen is that, you know, the lighting's not so great. So if you can get some kind of light in front of the paper and put some light on it, it might help. So from here, I'm going to make sure I just take a photo. I know it looks backwards in the video. It will not be when we're done. Click on Take Photo, and I'm done with that. So I can now close this. And now it's time to upload it. So down here where the work is supposed to happen, click on the Insert Image icon, and now we have to go find it. On a Chromebook, it's a place called My Files. If you don't see your files right away, you can also go look for your files down here in the launcher. If you see the icon, great. If not, type the word files, and the files will open. Okay, so that's where your files are, and it's in the downloads. Files downloads on a Chromebook. So let's do it again. Insert image, source. It's in My Files, downloads, find the image that you need to insert, and you will click Open. And then click Save. It will insert the picture in here. If you want, you can drag it, make it a little bigger. If you need to type in any words, you can type right after it. And in assessments, when you're done with the problem, we'll scroll to the bottom. We'll submit the answer. You'll see your answer, the picture, and you go to the next problem. So let's run through this one more time. We need to take a picture because this is asking for one as well. So we'll go to the camera. You'll notice mine shows in my launcher here. Otherwise, type the word camera. Let's hold up the paper to get a good picture of my work. Snap a photo. There's great. We don't need that anymore. We'll click the Insert Image icon, the up arrow in the box to find where it is. I might have to find my files. In this case, it's in my downloads. And click Open. And click Save. Your picture is attached. And again, if you need to type anything,
like an explanation and so on. You can type that in as well. When you're all finished with that, submit your answer.
So that is how that works. And what's really great is those pictures actually show up on your report. So you can actually see the student work right just by clicking on that assignment in Google Classroom. Pretty awesome. Dan, any questions?
Yeah, so Barb Overton asked, are teachers supposed to choose all the questions for the end of modules? And the answer to that one is no. Kathy and Diana and Artie will come up with what questions they need to add to those end of module tests. And then the teacher will then have to go through and select those questions.
Right. You're going to notice that the questions have some weird code, the way they've coded it in assessments. And so those should then be really written out for the teachers exactly which ones they are supposed to pick.
And it's going to be really important, too, that your teachers are practicing it. If they do this on the day they're supposed to take the end of module, it's going to be a crash and burn. So really stress the idea of them practicing with exit tickets, the mid-module when they get there. But they've got to practice the assigning of it, practice the kids getting in and accessing it, and practice going over the results with the kids.
Right. Those who wait till the day of, you know that they're going to be extremely frustrated, even though the kids will be doing this asynchronously as well. So they need to know what to do well in advance. And so when you present this to your staff, make sure they are on it. At least those grades 3 through 5 are practicing it a couple times a week at least, so that they know what to do. Even the part where they have to upload pictures, pick some of those questions so they know how to do it ahead of time.